Hello, this is Johnny Cycles with CyclesGaming.com. Here bringing you my first league match with my Boros Gideon Sarkhan the Masterless deck. We are off to a bad start here with this ugly looking opening hand. Nothing to do. I mean, the throw's great, but I'm going to have to ship it back. Okay, another 2-lander with similar garbage. No, I mean, it's fine, I guess. We don't want to go to 5. We'll put the Sarkhan the Masterless to the bottom. This is the exact kind of hand we don't really want to see with a 4-drop and a 5-drop. We're basically a mull to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 anyway. We need lands, and this Urza Saga is only going to be a land for a short while. Opponent was going to 5 cards, so maybe they're Tron. So yeah, our game plan is to try to get some value out of some early drops like Hardened Scales, Affinity. Alright, we're probably in trouble. Get some early value out of our 1-drops, chip in some damage, and then turn the corner with the 3-drop Gideons into 5-drop Sarkhan the Masterless, make them all the 4/4 Flying Dragons, and swing in for the win. Our backup plan, Urza Saga, Karn Sign of Urza, making constructs and going wide. So we'll go ahead and probably should have just not. Okay, well, I was going to say we probably should have just played this and gotten the planes. Yeah, better not to mess with our mana right now. Not get too cute with our life total. So Hardened Scales Affinity, we're probably going to be under a lot of pressure very quickly. And we don't have too many main deck answers as far as ways to just interact with what they're doing. We play the 4 Lightning Bolts. Okay, opponent mulled to 5 and is missing land drops, so there is hope. Ragavan Nimble Pilferer. So we could just run out. This dash in this Ragavan hit for 3, or we could cast both of these and next turn maybe flip Gideon if they don't make a land drop. That could be good for us. I mean, or we could end up doing nothing. I mean, it's so tempting to get it in a Ragavan hit, but we're going to just go for max value here. Putting pressure on our opponent who's stumbling on land, trusting that we can get in a big hit next turn and flip this Gideon. And if we do that, we can play Karn Sign of Urza after that, and we'll have this Urza Saga to make a construct the next turn with Gideon Blackblade still in our pocket. Or we can go with Gideon Blackblade, start putting even more pressure on our opponent. This is a exile target non-land permanent is an answer to some of what our opponent is going to be trying to do. Do they find a land? They do. Do they cast a blocker? They probably will. Will it be something that we want to trade with? Walking Ballista. Well, that's a really good one for our opponent, as they can just pick off our 2/1 drops. Yep. So it looks like the dash-in plan was probably the right plan, given that our opponent maybe took a risk. That's all there is to it. The risk did not pay off. Urza Saga. Let's see if we can't go bigger and wider than our opponent before they take themselves out of this mulligan. Give this guy lifelink, I guess. Yeah, Gideon Blackblade has been really unimpressive for me. It gives it lifelink, indestructible, or vigilance until end of turn. It's not even until the end of your next turn. It doesn't put a +1/+1 counter on it. It doesn't give it +1/+1 and something else. I feel like it's a really underpowered 3-drop Gideon, but we wanted another 3-drop, and we wanted it to be essentially a Gideon for our synergistic purposes. Next turn we can swing. It is a creature that can attack, so next turn we can plus it and attack, so we can give this indestructible if we want, and it's swinging for 6. So opponent's now making their land drops. Patchwork, automaton, I'm not sure welding jar, good for them. We can, I mean, that hitting a land into walking ballista into just wiping our board basically was a huge blowout, and it's going to let our opponent dig out of this. They only have 1 card though, so that is a plus. Hitting a Sarkhan. We're going to have a lot of Karnstrucks here. Give it indestructible. Go to combat. Swing in, see if what they do. They may just block the Gideon. Yep, take 4. And we are going to see about living our dream here in our first league match. We're going to make a Karnstruct token at the end of our opponent's turn. Go get, I don't know what, we'll find out. It's depending on what our opponent plays. Could be a Pithy Needle. And if we draw a red source, we can go ahead and float the mana, make a Sarkhan, cast Sarkhan the Masterless, and start swinging in. Although the proper plan is probably just to make Karnstruct tokens. Although they can, again, they have the ability to put up a lot of chump blockers, including, man, they're drawing well. Hangerback Walker. Patchwork is now a 5/5. 6/6, 7/7. Yeah, the thing's getting out of hand quick. So we can block the Patchwork with our Karnstruct token to keep our Gideon alive, and then we can exile, take our Gideon out of, exile it out of, that'll basically be our entire turn though. Now, this plan is going to price us into, hopefully you've drawn a red source, because they're gonna have so many chump blockers down that we're not gonna really be able to take advantage of the Karnstruct's ground attacks. See what we draw, a red source. Another Sarkhan the Masterless. We really could have used a land there. Yeah, I mean, that's really awkward for us because we don't even have the mana to cast and equip Shadow Spear. Or we don't have to cast it, but to equip Shadow Spear. Pithy Needle, we can use to name something. Like this Haywire Might, maybe? Since they can exile one of our other Urza. Expedition Map would go get us another Urza land. Yeah, I mean, these Urza lands are hurting us in reality. Get the Pithy Needle. And restart our recording. And then this gets that. That trigger goes on the stack. Now we're down to 3 lands, so we're even further away. So hitting a land there for our Sarkhan would have been really nice because we would have gotten the Pithy Needle, floated the mana, cast the Sarkhan, swing in for 4 at least. Now we are looking at chump block duty, basically. We can't even pay the ward on this thing. It costs 2. So yeah, we have some really awkward running on our part. We need, if we attack, they can block or they'll take it, and then we really need just to protect this Gideon. They probably want to block, to be honest, because then they can. You could just exile the Hangerback Walker. I don't know. It's a tough choice right now. Put this guy, make him vigilant, maybe? Or indestructible. If we're going to attack, probably indestructible. If I was them and with this attack, they would block. Maybe not, because they want to chip down this Gideon. Okay, go to combat. Some interesting decisions. So I've played about 10 matches with the deck. This is the first time I've been in this situation. First time I played against Hardened Scales Affinity, and then also having these choices to make with attacking with multiple creatures to give them multiple blockers, to attack down the Gideon. I mean, I think right now we just want to keep the pressure on our opponent who has 0 cards in hand. So try to keep the Gideon alive by chump blocking something, and then see if they sack the Welding Jar for some value. Probably want to save it to protect this Patchwork Automaton. I think it's Automaton. They gain some life, they take force, they take a total of 2. They get some Thopter tokens. So they're going to at least be able to get 2 damage in on the Gideon. If they swing, if they go all in on the attack, is there a world in which we want to just let it die and then make a Karnstruct token and swing in for 3, 4, 6 to put them 9? Probably not. So I think they're incentivized to at least attack with 2 creatures, if not 3, to try to get this Gideon away from being able to exile something. And we're not really getting, our Urza Saga's lands are giving us chump blockers, but they're not letting us build an army to get ahead on board. And also they're just letting us lose our mana. Shrinking down. Let's see if we can get a land. A land would be great. Deck, why must you do this to me? So as I write about in the article, this is the kind of, I mean, we're in the late game, but we're seeing the precise problem with get the expedition map because we need to go get another land. We're seeing the precise problem with Urza Saga lands coupled with the weakness of having the 4 and 5 drops in our deck. Yeah, Urza Saga lands are giving us some chump blockers, but they are also and finding us some pieces, but they're also dropping we're losing a land every time we play it. So let's go for lifelink. And so we're going down. Now we're down all the way down to 2 mana when we were up to 4. And if we had 1 turn there to get the 5 mana to play the Sarkhan, start swinging in with dragons, and we missed that window. And now we've proceeded to draw another Sarkhan and another Karn. Just some real terrible luck. But we're seeing the weakness of having 4 and 5 drops in your deck plus an Urza Saga land that has a clock on it for how long you can tap it for mana. It's like a Gemstone Cavern, but you don't get to choose when to use it. Alright, the Ozolith is a pretty good draw for them. I feel like their last card must be a land. I mean, they ran us out of Urza Saga tokens, so they're at a point where they can theoretically just attack with Patchwork and hope to like chip away at our blockers and keep their life total high until they draw into something like a finisher, because they have such a great setup right now. Yeah, they're gonna keep back one blocker. Gideon Blackblade is yep. Do we want to block with? So this guy is up to, where is he at? 6. So he's gonna go to 5 again. We're gonna keep him at 6. We're gonna keep losing though our Construct tokens. I'm not sure if we're playing this correctly. But we're gonna keep it up. I mean, we're swinging for 6 a turn. Now we're running out. We've ran out of blockers though. So what do we do? Doorkeeper Thrall. That is a blocker. Staying alive. It's not a land, but it is a blocker. We just cannot seem to get the a third creature to attack. What a weird game. Our opponent is so close to just turning this corner and winning. They're going to block the Gideon, I assume, and take 2, go to 7. I mean, they have so many live draws. And we're missing lands. Yep, they're going to regenerate it. That's fine if they want to burn it on that. It buys them more time to find. They really are just probably one draw away from winning, I imagine. Urza Saga is one of their better draws. We could go for an Urza Saga land. Opponent's probably like, we're finally going to kill that Gideon. They're playing it smart, holding back. A blocker. Johnny Cycles is being attacked by a Thopter token. Alright. They were not expecting this Doorkeeper Thrall, I know that much. Man, we just cannot find lands, though. And we have to pay the 2 mana for the ward just to get rid of that. And then they're going to be left with a bunch of Construct tokens. Man, we are just really getting unlucky with this mana business. Alright, well, we can go ahead and just cash in this Gideon. They're at 7. They're going to block here. They'll go to 5. And then they're going to start pumping out Construct tokens to chump block every turn. And that's going to be bad for us. It seems like this is our window. We did draw a blocker, though. So we could just keep doing what we're doing, except this next turn they're going to get a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, or 4, 4. No, a 5, 5, and then we're going to not be able to swing in profitably. Yeah, I mean, we had 2 fetch lands and 2 Urza Sagas, and that's it. We could try to just chip away at their blockers for a while. Yeah, I assume they'll block, yeah. 3 is a dangerous life total to be at against a red deck. Was the Gideon worth the Patchy? Probably. Because it does have all those counters on it that they can move around with the Ozolith. Wait, did it not work? No, okay, good. It's about to still on the stack. Ah, it leaves the battlefield. Oh well. Yeah, I mean, we're in trouble. We were in trouble before that. Now we're in trouble again. Now that we just gave them a flyer with counters on it. So the Ozolith, too good. Forgot that it was leaving the battlefield and not on a dying. Yeah, we're in trouble now because now they're going to get a 9/9 flyer, puts us on a 3-turn clock, make a Karnstark to block our Gideon. They called back out from a mull to 5. We can't seem to draw a land. Oh, now we're on a 2-turn clock. Yeah. What is our only draw out of this? Don't think there is one, to be honest. Insult on injury? Yep. We don't get a land. 1, 2, 3. We can't even attack with Gideon because the Gideon would just get blocked by there's a Saga token. Alright, well, we'll scoop it up. I mean, we do have the Doorkeeper Thrall to play, but we're just so choked up on lands. Holy cow. How many turns was that? 10, 11, 12. So we weren't going to draw. We drew 1 land. Anyway, that's what happens sometimes, especially with the 22 card deck. We drew 4 of our 8 4 and 5 drop cards, but we did not draw any lands. So we'll bring in the Cursed Totem. Can shut down something like Walking Ballisted. That was such a good blowout for us. Wrath of God is good. March of Otherworldly. Alright, so bring in some more removal. As good as Gideon Blackblade was that game, I'd rather have some cheaper removal. And then this relic is probably not necessary. And perhaps leaving the expedition map. I mean, Ragavan's only going to be so good in this matchup, but we are on the play. Take out 1 Ragavan. Alright, we're on it back. So disappointing turn of events in that game where we just could not find the land. So this is the type of hand I think you want against an Affinity deck. Heavy on removal with a little bit of pressure. So we can turn 1 pressure, put down a pressure, and then turns 2, 3, and 4 even begin the just remove whatever they cast. Now, of course, that's going to be dependent on what they cast. Welding Jar is a pain in our butts, but we can kill almost. Now we just hope to draw into a 3-drop Gideon. So even Hardened Scales we'd be happy with because we can answer it with this March of the Otherworldly Light. See what they have going on. Springleaf Drum. Do we care about that? Setting up for the long game. Another land. Not exactly what we wanted to see. But we can fetch up an Elegant Parlor, try to set up our draw step for next turn. So March of Otherworldly Light is one of our best cards against Hardened Scales Affinity, because if they had played a Hardened Scales, we could have just gone ahead and exiled it, which would have been really nice. We can still do that, since it's instant speed after our opponent clicks OK. I don't know, they're in the tank about something. Yeah, the 3-drop Gideon, shields down, yeah, but it would be worth it to use this treasure token to cash in a Gideon. Ink Moth, well, I guess it's better in that they don't get that card, even if it is a land and we don't get to cast it. Alright, well, we'll see how far we can go with this Ragavan with these 3 removal spells. So they went with the Springleaf Drum, so they must have a big turn, I would imagine, with multiple creatures. There's an Ink Moth Nexus. And there is the Apache with its ward 2. We're going to go ahead and just pay the ward on the end of our turn. See what we draw. They have a protection spell, it looks like. Dismember. Okay, unfortunate for us. We have 0 action after that. We would love to draw into a Gideon right here, a 3-drop Gideon. We only have the Gideon of the Trials in our deck now. Karn is okay, as it is a play for the next turn at least. And we get a Surveil. Put that into the graveyard. We might regret that. Every time I put a land into the graveyard, I never draw another land. Well, we were hoping to ride that Ragavan to more than just 1 hit and 1 treasure token, but that is what it is. We have mana open to hopefully kill whatever they cast next. Ancient Stirrings, finding something. We don't have mana open to kill Apache, unfortunately. Zabaz. So, modular, if a modular triggered ability would be put one, if a modular triggered ability would put 1 or more +1/+1 counters on a creature you control, that many +1/+1 counters are put on it instead. Red, destroy target artifact you control. White, it gets fine until end of turn. Okay. With the 1/1. So we could, let's see what this says. It's an additional cost to cast this spell. You may exile any number of white cards from your hand. The spell costs 2 less to cast. Exile target artifact, creature, or enchantment with mana value X or less. So it's 2, so we're going to spend our whole turn next turn doing that. We can bolt the Zabaz in response. It seems like the worst. Alright. There are 2 cards. Alright, well with Agassiz, I mean I don't know how many they play in their deck, but this does mean we might want to put it back in the relic if we get this game. Exile target card from a graveyard. What's the worst that can happen? We have the Gideon. think we're going to run out the Gideon. Then creatures you control +1 have all activated abilities of all creature cards exiled with Agatha Soul's Cauldron. So that is not an activated ability. So we can still, we're going to target the Ink Moth Nexus to stop those shenanigans. We can always respond to whatever they cast by lightning bolting, I guess, on their turn. See what they play. They have 2 cards, so we have a good hand. We have the kind of hand that if we navigate it properly and get a little lucky with what our opponent's doing, we should be able to win this game. Now, there are a lot of ifs here. There are a lot of ifs, and Hardened Scales Affinity has a lot of power and a lot of just went out of nowhere potential with its synergies. So we're going to really be leaning hard on this March of Otherworldly Light to answer the right card. Hardened Scales might be the right card. It might not be, though. Another land. What's their last card? Okay. Do they just want the mana? I'm confused. Or do they forget that it can't deal damage? Or can I still get infect? Alright, so then exile target. They want to put a counter on it. Got it. That way it gets 3 counters. Yep. Let's see what we get here. Another land. So that does let us get rid of this Ink Moth. Attack with the Gideon, get rid of the Ink Moth, play the Karn. Hold up March of Otherworldly Light. Alright, Karn Sign of Urza. We're going to make a Karn Struct. Opponent's reading the card, wondering what are we playing. We need to hurry up, we're at 7 minutes. Yeah, I mean, this deck is hard to play sometimes, and it's a very grindy matchup right now against our opponent. With all this interaction, but yeah, we're going to end up losing to time if we get this game, probably. We'll see. I mean, we can close it out quickly. They drew another land. Hopefully they'll spend their whole turn firing up this Ink Moth. And then we can exile it. Yep. So opponent's got the big attack coming in, but we have the March of Otherworldly Light. Hopefully they don't have a protection spell or something. We already saw the Dismember, which is going to be good against the Gideon. Alright. It would be a shame if we ended up losing this match to time, but hopefully we can close this out quickly. We can swing. If everything goes to plan, we'll swing for 6 next turn. I'm trying to decide if they want to destroy something, maybe. Alright, do they have a good card in their hand? Maybe not. Trying to play a little faster here. Put our opponent 3, dead to lightning bolt. See if they have any shenanigans. We're out of cards. Is it enough? And F6 to try to save some time. We're gonna have to play a lot faster next game, assuming we win this one. Which looks, I mean, I'm happy where we're at. I don't know what our opponent can do other than try to make us use our time. We're gonna have 3 4/4s and or 4 4/4s attacking next turn. Do they have the combo? I don't think they can combo off though. They can kill the Karn, but then they're dead. Opponent's just basically making us do all the clicks because they don't want to lose. They want us to lose to time next game, or at least have that as a possibility. Every second counts. Cutthroat, friendly league magic going on right now. F6 because we're done with our turn. Let opponent lose their time. Alright, well, we were not drawing very well, so it came down to that. Now, we could bring back in the relic after seeing that. I'll be right back. Bring back in the relic. And then, I'm not sure what we take out. Maybe a Gideon. Alright, try it like that. I mean, we might just lose to time. Or we might lose to a very fast start from our opponents. We would like to see another hand like the last one, where we have like a Ragavan and some interaction. Pithy Needle. So Doorkeeper Thrall is an all-star against our opponent's deck. But again, one lander, so we'll mulligan that. Keep. We will put this planes to the bottom. And F6 it. And get the party started with this Gideon, I guess. Maybe an Esper Sentinel would be better. Draw some cards. Okay. Weldon Jar. Yeah, that would have been nice to have the Esper Sentinel out for. Land is no help. Whenever an artifact enters the battlefield under control, you gain 1 life. If this is the first time this ability resolves, put a +1/+1 counter on it. Alright, so they're going to gain a lot of life, get a lot of, get a really big teething wormlet. That's some nice tech. Maybe it's a main deck, but I have a feeling, oh great. Well, that's what the Doorkeeper Thrall is for, and unfortunately the Doorkeeper Thrall is, we're on the play, so we can't get it down on turn 2 the way we would have liked to prevent that from happening. And we'll see what happens. This is not the best start for us. We do have one of our hate pieces, but we've drawn 2 lands in our 22 land deck, and that's really not what we want to be seeing. I wonder if Doorkeeper Thrall will hose this modular from happening. Because isn't it a triggered ability? We'll find out. No. So it is not triggered. It just comes in with the counter. I don't think that it can be activated anymore though. Nope, it's just entering the battlefield, so it can't be activated, and we are probably dead if we don't hit a kill spell. Yeah, we need to draw into our Wrath of God, is what we really need here. The Lightning Bolt is good. Do we kill the Arcbound Ravager? They can sacrifice the Welding Jar, so probably not. And we played the wrong land. We should have played there in Mesa, so we could cast this Lightning Bolt. Playing too quickly, I think, is what's happening right now. Yeah, the Walking Ballista, Doorkeeper Thrall doesn't hose the Walking Ballista's activated ability. Just unfortunately, I forgot that it's not activated abilities, it's just enter the battlefield abilities. And those putting +1/+1 counters on creatures when enter the battlefield is not an ability apparently. Unfortunately, that would be really sweet. So we are definitely we've just drawn again not so great. The first game we were stuck on 2 lands. This game we are now floating out. Our opponent's getting all their pieces into place. Wrath of God doesn't even do it for us. And then this Cauldron, creatures you control with +1/+1 counters on them have all activated abilities of all creatures cards exiled with Agatha's Cauldron. So now the Arcbound Ravager has the activated ability of Walking Ballista, and we are in trouble. Otherworldly Light is the answer we need right now. That is not the answer we need right now. It is a blocker. But it's just going to create a jump blocker for 2 turns. Jump blocker that can be killed by this Arcbound Ravager. But we need to play to our outs. So Otherworldly Light. Right now our opponent has great setup and only 1 card in hand. So we play to our outs, which is Otherworldly Light on this Arcbound Ravager, and then hope that our opponent doesn't follow it up with anything like an Urza Saga. Our Otherworldly Light on the Arcbound Ravager followed up with a Wrath of God to clean up whatever they are going to play after that. Alright, another Arcbound Ravager was our opponent's last card. It's a pretty good hand from our opponent. Meanwhile, we have been struggling to cobble together anything with lots of lands. Karn was our first non-land draw of the game. with our 22 land deck. I mean, this is a match that shows the variance of Magic. Plus, yeah, I mean, game one we had up to 4 lands, but there were Urza Saga lands. So then we lost the game with 2 lands out. We couldn't find the 5th land or the 3rd land. 8/8, nice. And they win. And then the second match, we made our land drops, had our removal. We were able to keep up, manage the board state. In this game, we just have flooded out super hard, and they were able to go off and kill us in one swing. So, good game. That's how it works sometimes with Magic. And this would be the matchup itself is challenging. I mean, Hardened Scales has such power and such explosiveness. I mean, out of nowhere, right? A 2/2 becomes 8/8. Not protect, they have all the setup, but you know what I mean. Like suddenly we're taking 8. But our deck has the answers in the 75 in targeted removal, some sweepers, some pressure, some early drops of our own, and we just didn't get lucky enough to draw what we needed, and certainly not in this game. In the first game, just couldn't find another land after our Urza Sagas disappeared. So, but we'll always have game 2. That was a fun one. We got to see Gideon get there. We got to see Karn actually do something. Still haven't seen Sarkhan the Master List make some dragons out of planeswalkers, but there are still 4 matches left. So for Johnny Cycles, this is cyclesgaming.com. I'll catch you on the next one.
This is Johnny Cycles with cyclesgaming.com, and this has been another edition of Dragons in Modern. Be sure to go to my site and check out all of my original Magic the Gathering content, where I post articles and video of my janky modern brews in my commander decks. I'm also publishing a couple chapters every month for my science fiction fantasy novel called The Pod Kind. Check me out on YouTube as well. Click that subscribe button. I'd really appreciate it. And I'll catch you on the next one.